Today's the day, y'all. Today is packing day. But before I get started packing, I really wanted to try my machine out. So last night I read over my instruction manual for my food waste disposer. It is a pretty cool little concept. I talked to y'all a little bit about it in the video before. I hate that I kind of had to split those up. It's just the way it fell. But this thing is pretty cool. It is where I can actually speed up composting by using this little bucket where I'll put my kitchen scraps in here. I can turn this thing on. I have a low, medium, and large settings to where I can choose how full my bucket is. Then I have a quick start, a standard, and a fermenting option that I can do with this bucket. So this is really cool. A lot of our scraps do go to like our chickens and our pigs, but if I know I'm gonna be working on building up soil for if I'm planting something new or whatever, and I am gonna be doing that here just shortly with our fall planting. So I really kind of want to start utilizing this. I have a couple of things I'm going to put in, and just to get this thing on and going and me kind of get like a feel of how it works, how long it's going to take, I'm going to do a quick start on it and see how it turns out. So I'm going to start off with something that does not have a lot of water content and that is pretty easy. So I have collected a bunch of eggshells, and I really need to like do something with these before we get ready to go on our trip, and they've just been sitting in this bucket. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these all on the bucket over here. I have no idea how long this will take. I've never had anything like this, but I am super excited. I'm gonna be learning it kind of as I go. It seems pretty simple though. And these eggs are already starting to smell, so I definitely have to do something with them before we go so that this is not just sitting in the house. Oh yeah, they smell real bad. Yep. Can y'all smell that over there? You don't want to smell it. So we need to get this thing on, and I need to get these taken care of before we leave. All right, now it's locked on. Okay, so now that I have my eggshells in there, I have the top locked on. I would say it's about large full. I mean, eggshells don't really take up a lot of volume, but there's a lot in there. It's kind of filling up the top. And I'm gonna actually do a quick mode, and it says 4 hours and 30 minutes. So I guess we'll see. And then I'm supposed to hold it down to start it. There it goes. I have really no earthly idea what it's actually going to do. I'm going to show you what it's doing right now. This lighting is terrible. The cool thing about this machine, instead of using a compost pile, which obviously takes time, you have to put things in there, browns to greens, it's got to be a certain temperature, and it just takes time for those things to break down. This is supposed to help speed up the process. Right now it looks like it's turning it. It's supposed to bring a certain amount of heat in there to dry all the ingredients out. I actually don't know exactly what all it does. It is a kitchen food waste disposer, and I really like the fact that it's supposed to help speed up that process. So I can literally take my scraps, everything that I use in the kitchen, and I can literally put those right into my pots, right around our pool in the back. If you see out there, I have lots of potted plants where I grow a lot of my herbs around the pool. I can literally feed all of those with the bucket that comes right out of the kitchen within just a couple of hours. That's a pretty cool concept. And if any of y'all are interested in a process like this, so like maybe you live in an apartment or you live in the city and you can't compost your items from the kitchen, this would be a great option for you if you have counter space. It's not much wider than half of my arm. It's pretty compact, but the concept is just really cool. But I will put a link to this composter down in the description and pin it in the comments. So if you guys are interested in something like this, you say, hey, you know what? I want to take my kitchen scraps. I want to be able to break them down, and I want to be able to feed the plants on my front porch or my back porch without having to go through the big compost with the dirt and the leaves, putting the kitchen scraps in there and then waiting for it all to break down. This is a great alternative. It's going to be very beneficial, I think, but especially for someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of land. You can definitely utilize this right in your kitchen to feed your plants a natural and organic way. It's a real cool concept. What are you cooking?
An omelet.
You like omelets?
Yeah.
Are you packed?
Yeah.
Ready to go to the beach?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go pack for the weekend. Okay, y'all, my composter is done. I'm fixing to show you what it looks like in there. So it basically dried and crushed these eggshells. Now, this was a pretty easy do, in my opinion, because it was just eggshells, but all things like vegetable scraps, fruits, breads, pastas, all of that type of stuff, you can put down in here and you can see that it dried it and crushed it from what it looked like last. Now, I'm actually fixing to take this. I'm breathing in eggshell powder right up in my nose. Whew. It doesn't actually have a smell like it did when it went in there. There is actually a filter in this machine that it has to be changed. You know, it said every 1,000 times. So in my opinion, that's a pretty good long time. I do need to go back and look at how to keep track of that. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be counting 1,000 times. So I do need to go back and look at what would alert me. I believe there's going to be a setting that pops up right here that would indicate I would need to change that filter. That is a pretty good long while that I would not need to change that out. Now, the cool thing about it being in this handy dandy little bucket is I'm about to actually take this outside. I have some herb pots that are just right out here on my back porch that I was telling y'all about earlier that could really use some food in the pot. So I'm going to take these eggshells and drop them right over in that pot. And just like I mentioned to y'all earlier, that if you can't do a compost because you're in an apartment or you're renting and you don't want to drop compost in a place that's not your property, you know, whatever the situation may be, and you just can't build a compost, this is a fantastic way to go. And you see how small that is. So it kind of reminds me of, and I know that whenever I have more ingredients like banana peels and those type things going over into my composting bucket, that it kind of reminds me, this texture kind of reminds me of the pelleted fertilizers that you can get, like what you would buy from a local co-op or from Walmart or whatever. It kind of reminds me of that texture. So dries and crushes your food at the same time. I do know that you can make your own fertilizer. It actually gives you some step-by-step instructions in the manual of greens and browns and some wonderful examples. So it kind of makes it a little bit easier, just if you're not familiar with the whole composting process. Anyway, this is citronella right here. This is mints in the back. This is my basil that is just about playing out. I'm letting it go to seed. Here is some more mints on this side. And these could definitely use some fertilizer. So what I would do is just push these back a little bit, make a little hole right down in the soil. I'm gonna get a handful Give that a toss right in that hole, and then just cover that right up. Now, one of the cool things about this, like I said, is the little filter that's in there. What its main purpose is like odor control. So that might be another key indicator in knowing when it needs to be changed, is if you start having trouble with smell, that would be like a key indicator in there that your filter may need to be changed. But the whole purpose of it is to help control odor. Now, I'm gonna just be honest, these eggshells had a pretty funky smell going into the composter, and when I got them out, now there is not a smell. They are fully dried. Like I said, though, they are fully dried, and I'm assuming because that filter was down in there, it helped control that smell. This is spearmint here and some other flowers that I just kind of propagated, but I'm just going to drop a little bit of shells down in there. You can see that these could definitely use a little bit of food for them. And that is literally all. This is going to be washed in the sink and put back over in the composter, and that was pretty easy.
Butter. You want me to put some more butter, Greg?
Finishing up with the last of the snacks, I made some dip, and it basically is just cream cheese, almond, vanilla flavoring or extract, some powdered sugar. I get the organic powdered sugar from Azure, and some organic chocolate chips. We like to dip the Annie's graham crackers over in this. Is a delicious little snack. So this is the last of our snacks for our trip. Here is all of the rest of our things. We have snacks. I have some things to cook with over in the box back there. We are also taking our own drinks. So I pretty much have everything wrapped up for today. Clothes and stuff is packed. Snacks are done, made. I do have a couple of other things in the refrigerator. We have homemade cinnamon rolls, bread, stuff like that that I have made that's frozen. So for the most part, I went up to the attic also and pulled out some of our beach toys. We have Fix-A-Flat, stuff for grilling, our beach towels in a basket down here. So for the most part, everything is done for today except for bathroom bag in the morning and freezer stuff out of the freezer. So I hope y'all look forward to those videos. We are going to have a wonderful time away from the farm. I have watered everything really, really well outside to make things a little bit easier for our farm sitter, because sometimes Colby and I can even get overwhelmed with there's always so much to do, much less somebody who doesn't do it on a daily basis. So to just try to make things a little bit easier for them, we are excited. The kids are so excited. The trip is all that they have talked about today. There have been a couple of times that we go away from the farm, like when we went to the Okie homestead, which was fun. It was a fun little getaway, but a lot of that's work related. And you know, the kids, it's not really for the kids, even though they enjoy it and have a good time. But this is a trip just for the kids. We love to build sandcastles. We love to dig big holes. They love to swim in the ocean. It is just a time for us to get away and enjoy time with our kids, make those special memories, because they're not going to be here with us forever. So I hope you are looking forward to those videos, because they are going to be coming out soon.